Time is not a straight, cold river flowing through our lives, but rather like the age rings hidden deep within an old piece of wood, coiling continuously, embracing and preserving each of the smallest fragments of memory. Amidst this vast and volatile world, every soul possesses a natural tendency, a silent yearning to seek a sanctuary to return to, a space broad and forgiving enough to shelter us after long, weary journeys. When the clamor of the outside world fades into the distance, the symphony of time and memory begins to rise in the stillness, gently nurturing and guiding us back to the shores of primal peace. Welcome back, dear companion of our channel. Before we embark together on tonight's journey to discover a peaceful sanctuary within our story, please grant yourself a few brief moments to settle down. If you find comfort and tranquility in these gentle, soothing moments, please favor us with a subscription, a like, and turn on the notification bell. Your warm companionship and kind interactions are the greatest motivation for us to continue our journey of bringing peaceful sleep to everyone. For now, allow yourself to rest completely. Begin by finding the most comfortable position for yourself on your familiar bed. You may lie on your back, letting both arms rest naturally alongside your body, or turn gently to one side, as long as your entire body feels completely liberated from any restriction. Let the mattress beneath fully cradle and support your weight. You do not need to brace yourself. You do not need to hold on to even the slightest bit of pressure anymore. Your entire body is now sinking down, sinking deeper, soft and light like an autumn leaf, gently placing itself upon the soft earth. Now, slowly close your eyelids. Close your eyes very gently, without any force, just like fragile petals folding inward as the night descends. As your eyes close, the outside world, with all its vibrant images and bright lights, begins to dim, giving way to a serene, cool inner sanctuary. Bring your attention home to your breath. There is no need to try to change or adjust the rhythm of your breathing to any pattern. Simply observe and feel your own breath in this very moment. Inhale a very slow breath, feeling the cool, crisp air passing through your nostrils, filling your chest, and then gently expanding down into your abdomen. Your belly rises slightly, carrying the fresh, clean energy of the earth and sky. Then exhale, so slowly, so softly. Feel the warmth of the air leaving through your lips or nostrils, carrying away all the weariness, the anxieties, and the remaining thoughts of the long day that has passed. Each breath out is a release, a moment you allow yourself to be freed from nameless burdens. Continue to maintain this natural rhythm of breathing. Inhaling, you know you are inhaling. Exhaling, you know you are exhaling. The breath is like small waves far out at sea, regularly and gently caressing the sandy shore, bringing a steady, cyclical, and deeply relaxing cadence. Feel that warm, soothing airflow moving inside your body. Wherever it flows, it brings relaxation and comfort. Now, guide the focus of your mind to the crown of your head. Feel a soft, cool wave of relaxation, like a mountain spring at its source, gently touching your scalp. Relax all the muscles on your face. Soften your forehead, where the wrinkles of thoughts often gather. Let your forehead become smooth and tranquil, like the surface of a lake without a single ripple. Relax your brows and soften the muscles around your eyes. Your eyes are now completely at rest, nesting deeply within their sockets. Relax your jaw. Let the corners of your mouth loosen slightly, and let a gentle, peaceful smile awaken within your consciousness. That wave of relaxation continues to cascade down to your neck and shoulders, soothing away the tightness built up after long hours of weary work. It spreads across both shoulders. Feel your shoulders drooping down, weightless, casting off completely the pressures you have carried throughout the day. The warm, pleasant flow of energy flows along both arms, through the elbows, the wrists, the palms, and trickles into the very tips of your fingers. You might feel a light tingling or a warm sensation at your fingertips, which is the sign of absolute surrender and letting go. Bring your awareness to your chest and your abdomen. Feel the gentle, rhythmic rise and fall with each breath. Your heart is beating in steady, slow, and healthy rhythms. Each beat of your heart is a reminder that you are safe, that you are protected within your very own room. The wave of relaxation ripples across your back, stretching down along each vertebra, from your upper back to your lower back, soothing every muscle group, making you feel as though your body is melting into one with the cozy bed. Finally, let this relaxation flood down to your hips, along both thighs, through the knees, the calves, the ankles, and the soles of your feet, all the way to your toes. Your entire body, from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet, is now completely relaxed. No tension remains, no muscle group is holding on. You are in a state of deep tranquility, stillness, and readiness to receive the most wonderful things from the space of our story. In this state of deep relaxation, imagine you are enveloped by a very special atmosphere. It is a warm, solemn air, lingering with the scent of thyme, the smell of ancient rosewood, and the scent of sacred, sturdy, rammed earth. A sense of absolute security surrounds you, as if a 2-meter thick earthen wall, steadfast and strong, stands between you and the chaotic world outside. That wall blocks out all storms, all noises, and all worries, keeping inside only a vast silence, a gentle warmth cradling your soul. You are completely protected, completely sheltered. Your mind is now empty, light, and peaceful, ready to take invisible steps into the space of the circular Tulou, where the symphony of time and memory awaits to lull you into sleep. The sound of the night mist in Yongding County does not arrive abruptly like an unexpected stranger. It begins its journey with immense patience and gentleness, much like an old acquaintance returning home after a long day. From the dark green terraces of the tea hills, where the young buds still hold on to the last warm traces of the fading daylight, the mist begins to take shape, fragile and light as wreaths of smoke, it glides across the endless rows of tea plants, then weaves its way into the rustling bamboo forest behind the village. The slender bamboo stalks brush against one another under the light breeze, creating a murmuring sound like the private whispers of the night. The mist continues to rise, growing a little thicker, a little softer, before gently settling upon the curved, moss-covered tiled roofs of the Chengqi Tulou. Tonight, this giant home begins its familiar chorus once again, a symphony of earth, wood, and the breath of hundreds of souls. As your mind completely relinquishes the burdens of reality, let your thoughts drift along with that mist, gently shifting into an ancient and silent space. Chengqi appears through the hazy night mist of Yongding County like a colossal moon of rammed earth, standing tall and serene in the heart of a lush green valley, cradled by rolling mountain ranges. In the stillness of the night, that architecture is no longer merely a lifeless structure of soil and stone, but emerges as a living entity, a benevolent giant sleeping the sleep of millennia, whose heart inside never ceases to beat with the warm rhythms of human affection. Imagine standing before this grand creation, feeling the vast openness yet deep shelter of its concentric, circular architecture. The entire fortress was built upon a profound philosophy of wholeness and equality. 4 large and small circular rings nest inside one another, oriented toward a single focal point. The outermost wall, the most fortified shield, is constructed entirely of rammed earth with a thickness of up to 2 meters at its base. This is no ordinary soil, but a special mixture meticulously blended from mud, sand, and lime, reinforced with brown sugar water, glutinous rice, and finely split bamboo strips. This ingenious combination has created a resilient bond, enduring through centuries, helping the fortress stand firm against the shifts of time, earthquakes, or external adversities. That rammed earth wall is rough and weathered, bearing a warm, hospitable golden earth hue, as if fully holding the steadfastness and deep tolerance of Mother Earth. As you step through the thick wooden gate and enter the interior of the Tulou, a sense of absolute peace and security will immediately envelop you. That dense wall is not only a shield against the rain and sun, but also a perfect shield for the soul. Out there, the world may be roaring. Storms may be sweeping away the rows of trees on the hilltop, or modern life may be rushing in a frantic hurry. But the moment you step over this threshold, everything stops. The entire space within the Tulou is wrapped in a solemn atmosphere, thick with the scent of time, the smell of ancient rosewood, damp earth, and the lingering warmth of evening hearths. Gentle, cool moonlight filters down through the high vents and the open sky of the central atrium, casting a perfectly circular beam of light onto the blue flagstone courtyard at the center of the house. This is the heart of Chengqi Tulou, the gathering point for the energy of heaven and earth, and the witness to all the shared joys and sorrows of the entire clan. Standing from this central position and looking upward, you will behold a magnificent yet deeply soothing sight. the concentric rings of the building stories stack neatly atop one another. The Tulou rises 4 stories high, and with each ascending level, the architecture steps back slightly, creating endless corridors that curve softly like ribbons of silk, embracing the central airspace. Hundreds of small wooden windows from the rooms all face toward this inner courtyard. This is a highly deliberate architectural design, reflecting the deep community mindset of the Hakka people. In the dark of night, as the oil lamps begin to flicker behind the small wooden windows, the Tulou does not sink into a dead, cold silence. Instead, it murmurs with the soft whispers of dozens, hundreds of families living within. That sound is incredibly gentle and steady, like peaceful waves lapping against the hull of a boat. From the wooden corridors, the scents of incense, cooked food, damp soil, and sand intertwine, creating a cozy living space filled with the comforting presence of humanity. This circular space seems to possess the power to hold time still. The rushes of a long day cannot penetrate here. You can clearly feel your own invisible footsteps upon the cool blue flagstone courtyard. Hearing the night wind brush past the dark gray tiled roofs, bringing the fresh, clean breath of the Yongding forests. Every architectural detail, from the dark, polished rosewood pillars bearing the weight of the structure to the skillfully carved rafters, is blending together, preparing to guide you into a deeper story. Continue to let yourself sink into the shelter of these earthen walls, allowing this stillness and reassurance to lead you to meet the people whose souls have been bound to this eternal circle. I am Amok. For 80 years, these hands of mine have been bound to these pillars of rosewood, these blunt chisels, and the fragments of lives drifting through this eternal circle. People call me a carpenter, but in truth, I am the one who listens to the house. When I lie down upon this wooden platform, polished smooth by the passage of time, the moment my back touches it, I hear the floorboards let out a very faint creaking sigh, a sound of pure stillness. Out there, the world may be roaring, storms may be sweeping away the rows of trees, but inside the Tulou, everything is enveloped in a solemn atmosphere, thick with the scent of time and the warmth of the hearth fires. Moonlight filters through the high air vents, casting a circular beam of light down onto the blue flagstone courtyard at the center of the house. That is the heart of the Tulou, the place where all communal life unfolds. From this spot, looking upward, I see the concentric rings of the building stories stacked upon one another, each level stepping back slightly, creating long corridors that run like ribbons of silk, embracing the central airspace. As night falls and the oil lamps begin to flicker behind the small wooden windows, the Tulou finds its voice. It is not a dead, heavy silence, but the gentle murmur of dozens of families. Clack. The sound of the wooden door latch at Madame Alin's room on the second floor echoes softly. She has just finished preparing a batch of dried, salted mustard greens, the ingredient that forms the very soul of the renowned Hakka braised pork. The rich, deep aroma of the dried greens blends with the faint scent of damp earth, and the trace of kitchen smoke still lingering on the polished black rosewood pillars, creating a fragrance of warmth and abundance. Go to sleep, my child. Tomorrow, when the mist clears, your father and I will go to the tea hills to harvest the new leaves, Madame Aylin whispers, soothing her young grandchild. The lullaby of our Hakka people needs no musical instruments. It is simply a steady, rhythmic chanting, carrying the low, distant shadows of our ancestors in every tone. I turn slightly, and the wooden floorboards beneath me speak once more. Rosewood, cedar, pine, the thousands of planks within this fortress each possess their own voice. When the seasons change, the wood expands and contracts, creating very light, subtle movements, as if the house itself were drawing breath. It is the breath of life, of hundreds of people who were born, grew up, and grew old, right within this place. The Han character couplets, carved into the wooden plaques hanging at the entrance of each room, still clearly display the ink strokes that have faded over the years. They teach the younger generations about filial piety, about the industriousness of the Hakka people, those migrants from the distant north who always regarded one another as kin upon setting foot on a strange land. Under the yellow light of the lanterns, those characters seem to be telling stories of solidarity, of how we, though bearing different surnames and different names, still share the same roof, the same ancestors. Grandfather Mock, are you still awake? The voice, as gentle as a breath, belongs to a bin, the youth who is apprenticing as a carpenter under me, calling from the wooden staircase. He steps down each stair, his feet weightless upon the worn, smooth wood. I smile softly, my voice raspy like a bamboo flute blown through a crevice in the rocks. I am listening to the Tulou breathe, Bin. This house is telling me about those who have left, those who have arrived, and the heartbeat of those who are sleeping peacefully within. Bin steps closer quietly and sits down on the main threshold, where the thick wooden gate, reinforced with iron to ward off bandits and wild beasts in the old days, now stands only as a witness to an era of peace. I can hear the stream flowing behind the hill. It is always so tranquil here, yet it never feels lonely, does it, grandfather? That is true, I reply, my eyes following the silver moonlight as it filters through the high vent, casting a circular beam down onto the blue flagstones. Our Hakka ancestors built our homes in circles so that the wind would never be trapped, so that the sounds of each household could reach the ears of the neighbors next door. When one person is happy, the whole house hears the laughter. When one person is sad, the entire home will sit together to share a bowl of stuffed tofu and a warm cup of wine. We sit in silence. Neither of us says another word. The sound surrounding us now is the perfect harmony of nature and human life. The croaking of frogs calling to one another in the wetlands beyond, the rustling of bamboo leaves brushing together like thin sheets of paper, and occasionally the steady, reassuring breathing of our neighbors behind the thick walls. Here, architecture is the reflection of the community's soul. The thick walls are not merely for protection, but to hold inward the warmth of human kindness. Each small window faces the central courtyard, where everyone can see one another and speak across the wooden corridors, weaving an invisible yet incredibly strong web of connection. No one is left behind. No one has to face the dark night alone. Within this round space, time seems not to flow away. It simply coils tightly, much like the age rings of the rosewood trunks I once chiseled and shaped. The security brought by the rammed earth walls is not imprisonment, but absolute protection. It keeps our souls from being clouded by the dust of the world outside. Grandfather, Abin whispers, his eyelids already growing heavy. I feel as though the entire clan is embracing me. Sleep, young boy. I brush his hair gently and then let myself drift into the vast serenity. I close my eyes, and within my mind rises the imagery of tomorrow morning. The morning mist will dissolve beneath the early sun, and the first rays of daylight will pierce through the air vents, splashing onto the stone courtyard, creating dancing spots of light on the floor. The women will begin the day with the sound of bamboo brooms sweeping the courtyard, the clinking of bowls and chopsticks preparing for breakfast. The men will pull on their coarse, dark blue cloth tunics, inhaling a deep breath of the crisp mountain air before heading up to the tea hills. It is an eternal cycle. Life within the Tulou is just like that, simple, slow, and filled to the brim with human warmth. The notes of a two-stringed erhu played by an elder at the far end of the third-floor corridor suddenly drift through the air. The low, lingering melodies weave through the night like soft threads, blending into the falling mist, cradling every sleeping soul. That sound, together with the wind whistling through the door crevices, is the most precious healing medicine that nature and the hands of our ancestors have left for us. I drift into sleep, feeling clearly the warmth radiating from the earthen walls. This is no longer inanimate rammed earth. It is a grand embrace, a gentle mother always sheltering and protecting her children, no matter where they go or what they do, so that when night falls, there is always a home to return to, a place where every creak of the floorboards is the very beating of a heart. Life, in truth, is merely a journey to find a sanctuary to return to. Just like the steadfast Tulus of the Hakka people, true peace does not come from wealth or grand splendor, but from a deep, unbroken connection to our roots and those around us. When we learn to listen to the breath of the house we live in and listen to the breathing of the loved ones beside us, we will realize that no matter how vast and turbulent the world outside may be, there will always remain a sturdy Tulou within our own souls. It is a sanctuary where our emotions are sheltered, nurtured, and healed by genuine understanding. Through every breath of the house, we learn how to let go of the noise, rediscovering the peace within our own consciousness, so that each sleep becomes a renewal of energy for a pure and tranquil soul. To ensure the translation strictly mirrors the extended version of the original text and maintains the slow, soothing rhythm of the narrative, I continue with the translated prose describing Grandfather Mock's deep sensory experiences within the stillness of the night. The night deepens further, and the interior of the Tulou feels like an ancient ceramic vessel, holding within it the pure essence of time. Lying upon the polished wooden platform, I can feel the subtle shifting of the timbers under the weight of the dark and the mountain chill creeping in with the mist. Spending 80 years living the life of an old carpenter, I have learned to converse with these silent woods with the utmost reverence. Each large rosewood pillar supporting this 4-story structure was once a living being that stood tall in the deep forest centuries ago, before becoming the flesh and bone of Chengqi. Wood never truly dies. It simply transitions into a different, more silent, and forgiving state of existence. When night returns, the faint, almost imperceptible creaking of the floorboards is not a sign of cracking, but rather the intimate whispers of the wood to the earth, of the past to the present. I listen closely. The creaking of the wooden stairs in the distance, where Ben just ascended, seems to leave a light, rhythmic echo. That boy possesses skillful hands and a sensitive soul, much like myself in my youth. Watching him sit upon the heavy wooden threshold, I am reminded of the old master carpenters of the generations before me, those who taught me how to hold a chisel, how to read the grain of the wood, to know which pine was resilient and which rosewood was sturdy. Those old craftsmen have long rested deep beneath the green valleys behind the mountains, but their spirit and their love for every grain of wood and every strike of the hammer remain clearly visible in every intricate carving and every flawlessly fitted mortise joint of this house. We Hakka people do not build our homes with cold iron nails. We connect our wooden planks and rafters with precise interlocking joints, just as the generations within our clan bind themselves to one another through deep kinship, requiring no material ties, yet remaining unbroken through centuries of storms. From the blue flagstone courtyard at the center, the cool moisture of the mossy stones rises gently, blending with the warm, rich scent of the rammed earth walls to create a perfect balance of harmony and human devotion. That stone courtyard has worn smooth over the years, under the footsteps of countless generations. So many children have taken their very first steps upon those stones. So many feet of young men and women have danced during the harvest festivals. And so many weary, slow steps of the elders have crossed this path toward the sunset of their lives. The moonlight shining down upon the center of the yard is radiant and clear, like a mirror reflecting the inner truth of every soul living beneath this shared roof. Within this circular space, no hidden corner of selfishness or loneliness can exist. Every room opens to the corridor, and every corridor faces the central yard, creating a continuous, unbroken flow of shared emotions. The whispering voice of Madame Aileen soothing her grandchild from the second floor has dissolved into the realm of dreams, giving way to the steady, peaceful breathing of the grandmother and child. I know that her room is filled with jars of dried, salted mustard greens and vessels of self-brewed, glutinous rice wine. The aroma of those simple dishes is the invisible glue binding the childhood memories of every child born within the Tulou. No matter how high or how far those children may fly to big cities in the future, And no matter how many delicacies they may taste throughout their lives, the rich scent of dried greens steeped in kitchen smoke and the gentle lullaby beneath the tiled roofs of Chengqi will always remain an invisible force, a spiritual compass calling them back to their roots every spring. The abundance of the Hakka people is not measured in gold or silver, but by the fullness of the rice vai, the ever-glowing warmth of the hearth fire, and the bright laughter of children echoing through the wooden corridors at dusk. The night wind blows once more through the bamboo forest behind the village, creating long, rustling waves of sound like a distant sea. The resilient bamboo stalks, bending under the mountain storms, are just like the character of our Hakka people, enduring, patient, and always clustering together to protect one another. Our ancestors were migrants from the far north, crossing high peaks and deep rivers, enduring countless hardships and prejudice when they first arrived at this strange land. Without solidarity, without the spirit of mutual love and treating one another as family, how could we have stood firm and built such grand monuments as Chengqi Tulou? The Han character couplets written in pine soot ink upon the wooden plaques outside my door, though faded by smoke and time, still stand as a sacred reminder of filial piety, industry, and unity. We live under the same roof, drink from the same well in the corner of the yard, and when a family experiences joy or mourning, the entire Tulou bears the weight together. Not a single soul stands apart. The elder's erhu on the third floor plays on, its notes rising and falling, appearing and fading with the passing breeze. That erhu music is like an invisible red thread stitching through the night, threading the sleep of hundreds of souls within the Tulou into one grand dream. It is a dream of a peaceful life, a world devoid of strife and resentment, where humanity and nature melt into one, and where the old and the new succeed one another naturally like the four seasons. Listening to the melody, I feel my soul washed clean of the dust of time. My old, calloused hands, fingers that have been cut by axes and chisels more times than I can count, are now completely relaxed upon the wooden platform. I no longer feel the ache in my joints when the cold weather sets in, nor the worries of tomorrow. Only peace remains, an absolute, deep, and profound peace. The 2-meter-thick rammed earth wall outside still stands tall in the darkness, like a loyal guardian of unconditional protection. That mixture of mud, brown sugar, and bamboo fibers has hardened over hundreds of years, becoming as solid as bedrock. It has witnessed countless rainy seasons and storms, and countless generations of humans coming and going, yet it holds its inner warmth completely intact. The wall seems to whisper to me, "Sleep with an easy heart, amok." I have been here for 300 years to shelter your ancestors, and I will continue to be here to protect you and your children. The world outside may change, but my shelter is eternal. That sense of security seeps into my every cell and every vein, slowing my heartbeat to match the solemn breathing of the Tulou. I feel myself dissolving into this circular space. I am no longer a mock, the 80-year-old carpenter. I have become a part of the creaking floorboards, a part of the sturdy rammed earth walls, a part of the silver moonlight on the blue flagstones, and a low note within the erhu music drifting into the void. Every boundary between the individual self and the community, between human and architecture, between past and present, is completely erased. We are one, a grand living entity named Chengqi, breathing together, beating together, and sinking together into a deep sleep, filled with the love and protection of Mother Earth. Life, in truth, is merely a journey to find a sanctuary to return to. Just like the steadfast Tulus of the Hakka people, true peace does not come from wealth or grand splendor, but from a deep, unbroken connection to our roots and those around us. When we learn to listen to the breath of the house we live in and listen to the breathing of the loved ones beside us, we will realize that no matter how vast and turbulent the world outside may be, there will always remain a sturdy Tulou within our own souls. It is a sanctuary where our emotions are sheltered, nurtured, and healed by genuine understanding. Through every breath of the house, we learn how to let go of the noise, rediscovering the peace within our own consciousness, so that each sleep becomes a renewal of energy for a pure and tranquil soul. As the notes of the elders' erhu at the far end of the third-floor corridor soften and finally melt into the night, the space within Chengqi Tulou enters a phase of deeper stillness. It is the moment of absolute interweaving between reality and the dream world, where the boundaries of thought begin to blur and dissolve into the vast void. The silver moonlight filtering through the high vents is no longer sharp and clear. The circular beam of light upon the blue flagstone courtyard begins to fade, growing hazy and covered by a thin layer of mist like smoke, turning the entire bowl of the Tulou into a luminous, ethereal realm, much like a fresh ink wash painting that has not yet dried. At this moment, your mind and the heartbeat of the house have completely fused into one. The soft murmurs of dozens of families have entirely settled. Only the most primal and pure sounds of nature remain to hold the space. The croaking of frogs from the wetlands out in the valley, the rustling of bamboo leaves, brushing together in the gentle breeze beyond the tea hills, all sound like a soft, steady sigh of the earth. The floorboards of rosewood and cedar, having absorbed human warmth and daylight throughout the day, are now expanding and contracting very gently in the chill of the night mist. An occasional creak echoes, as fragile as a single thread, waking no one. Instead, it stands as a promise of a peaceful presence, a gentle reminder that the house is still awake to watch over your sleep. In this drifting state of reverie, you will feel your body becoming weightless, much like a wisp of mist floating freely among the concentric rings of the building stories. You glide along the long wooden corridors that curve softly, looking at the oil lamps that have completely gone out behind the windows, leaving only a trace of gentle warmth. The rich aroma of dried, salted mustard greens from Madame Aline's room, the kitchen smoke lingering on the rosewood pillars, the hospitable scent of rammed earth. All of these fragrances are no longer distinct, but blend together, creating a scent of pure peace, gently enveloping your sense of smell, soothing every nerve cell that is letting go. Every notion of time and the outside world completely vanishes. You no longer care what day of the week tomorrow is, nor do you worry about unfinished tasks. Within the eternal circle of Chengqi, the past, present, and future seem to gather into a single moment, the moment of absolute security. The 2-meter-thick earth wall, steadfast like a gentle mother, opens her arms wide to embrace you, shielding you completely from the frictions, the hurts, or the pressures of life out there. No more loneliness, no more isolation. You clearly feel that you are nurtured, belonging to a sacred and warm source. Your flow of thoughts slows down, matching the regular rhythm of each breath. Alert consciousness begins to give way to the hazy images of dreams. You find yourself sinking into a neutral space, cool and carefree. The stillness here is not an empty void, but a fulfilling stillness, brimming with human kindness and the tolerance of Mother Earth. The boundary between your body and the earthen walls, the worn rosewood pillars, seems to exist no more. You dissolve into the peaceful darkness of the Tulou, allowing the flow of time and memory to gently sweep away the last fragments of conscious awareness, drifting you onto the shores of a deep, light, and completely tranquil sleep. Within the warm shelter of the Tulou's rammed earth walls, you have completely cast off the final anchor lines of consciousness to sink deep, sinking deeper into a peaceful, eternal slumber. This state of deep sleep is now like a mirror-flat lake without a single ripple, reflecting a beautiful, cyclical, and simple dream of tomorrow. A new day at Chengqi will begin just as it has for hundreds of years, slowly, gently, and filled to the brim with the warmth of human kindness. Imagine as the heavy night mist slowly dissolves beneath the soft rays of the early sun, the sky of Yongding will gradually shift from a deep blue to a gentle, cool shade of pink. The very first warm beams of morning light will softly pierce through the high air vents and the central atrium, shining directly down onto the blue flagstone courtyard, creating dancing spots of light that sparkle like jade upon the floor. The solemn stillness of the dark night begins to give way to the simple, familiar, and endearing sounds of daily life. The Hakka women will be the first to awaken, beginning the day with the steady, rhythmic swish-swish of bamboo brooms sweeping across the worn stones, accompanied by the gentle clinking of bowls and chopsticks as they prepare breakfast over a glowing hearth fire, from which a plume of white smoke rises like a warm invitation. The men will pull on their traditional dark blue tunics of coarse cloth, step out onto the corridors, and inhale a deep breath of the crisp, pure mountain air and the scent of the tea hills, ready for a fulfilling day of heartfelt labor. It is an eternal cycle of life, a simple rhythm possessing boundless healing power. Every worry and burden of the world outside becomes small and meaningless before the resilience and deep tolerance of the Tulou. You are completely sheltered within the embrace of a gentle mother made of earth, where every breath of the house and every creak of the floorboards is a tender heartbeat from the ancestors, cradling and protecting you throughout the long night. Let yourself sink fully into this primal peace. Sleep deeply and peacefully, allowing your soul to completely renew itself with the purest energies. Our journey tonight has come to a close in perfect stillness. When you wake up tomorrow morning with a refreshed spirit and a peaceful mind, please return to this video to connect with us. A comment sharing your thoughts on the space of the Tulou, a like, or sharing this story with your loved ones will be the most wonderful connection. The channel is always here, waiting for your footsteps to return after long, exhausting days. For now, continue to enjoy this profound and peaceful sleep. Wishing you the most beautiful dreams. Good night.